So this video is the ultimate guide to farming the Mount Invincible from Icecrown Citadel. There is a ton of clever tricks to speed up this process scattered around the internet in many guides, but these articles and videos are often incomplete, sometimes inaccurate, sometimes outdated, and in this video I'm going to pull all the skips and tricks together in one video and add some powerful methods of my own to create what is going to be by far the fastest single route to farm this elusive mount. Invincible drops from the Lich King in 25-man heroic mode only in Icecrown Citadel. It is probably the most famous mount in the game, and because it only drops from the last boss of a huge raid with a very low chance to drop, it's also quite difficult to obtain. So to start with, I'm going to present the fastest way to farm ICC in the normal way by just killing all the bosses and running through it as fast as possible. Note that you have to do this at least once, even if you use the shared Lockout method we'll be discussing shortly. This video is sponsored by my Patreon, where secret methods too powerful for YouTube are published on a regular basis. So to begin with, make sure your raid is set to 25-man heroic mode. We kill all the trash near the entrance and the first boss, Lord Marigar. Now we go to the second boss, Lady Death Whisper. There's an interesting skip technique we can use after this fight. This was originally developed by Shiekrunner, the legendary speedrunner. Most people wait for the elevator, but there's a faster method. After you kill the boss, go backwards to the teleporter and port directly to the Rampart of Skulls. The time saving from doing skips like this really adds up given how often you'll be doing this if you want a realistic chance to get invincible. Now we head to the gunship battle, the third boss of the raid. For those who haven't done this for a while, the damage from the guns is scaled up so you can one-shot the whole encounter. If you can jump onto the enemy ship, you'll get ported directly to Deathbringer's Rise. This can be awkward on some classes, and it is not essential. Either way, at Deathbringer's Rise, use the teleporter to get back to Light's Hammer at the entrance, and then immediately come back to Deathbringer's Rise. This speeds up the roleplay and starts the next encounter faster. Talk to Muradin, wait for the fight with Deathbringer Sorfang to complete, one-shot him, and enter the upper spire area. Now, proceed through ICC clockwise and kill Professor Putricide. In order to reach Putricide, you must kill the mini-bosses Festegut and Rotface, and remember to open the valves. It's very easy to forget that. You probably noticed the skips up to this point have been fairly minor. Don't worry, in the second half of the run, they become very important. As you can see, there's an awful lot of running around here, so make sure you make full use of your class mobility abilities. There's another skip here after you've finished with the insect chamber and killed Putricide. That's to use some pinch whistle nitro fuel, which you can buy in your factions in at Ashran in Draenor, with a cooking fire, which you can get from any cooking trainer at level 1. This will send you back to the entrance where you can port back to the upper spire. It will knock 20 seconds off your run. The problem is you can't put down the cooking fire while moving, so putting it down eats into that 20 seconds. An alternative is to use the pet Pierre, which will allow you to kill your character while moving, meaning you get the full 20-second time reduction. You can use this method to exit any dungeon, not just ICC. Kill the Blood Prince Council and Blood Queen Lenethil. And we're going to come to the biggest skip in the main run. When the Blood Queen is killed, this hole opens up. If you jump at exactly the right angle, you can go straight through the terrain. I'm using engineering rocket boots and slow fall to do this. There's a number of other ways. The simplest is to be a demon hunter or evoker and just fly through. You basically need some form of slow fall and something to propel you forward. Using this technique, you can get straight to Sindragoza without having to negotiate Velithria's area, which takes ages. That area has a lot of trash and time-consuming roleplay. Having killed Sindragoza, we take the portal here back to the upper spire. At this point, if you are doing the traditional run, you'll find that the teleporter in the middle of the upper spire is now active, and you can go straight to the Lich King and kill him. Note that the Lich King roleplay takes quite a long time, more than any other encounter in the game in total. There is no way to skip the roleplay in this encounter. Or is there? Or is there? Or is there? Kind of. Here's a method I developed which can knock up to 2 minutes off your run. What you can do is switch to another client and log in on the same account while the roleplay is taking place. Do this after you one-shot the Lich King. You can't log out during this time. You'll need to log in on a second client to the same account, which forces your first client to disconnect. You can then go through ICC on an alt, and you can actually get quite far on your second character before the roleplay on your first character concludes. After a couple of minutes, log back in on your first character to finish off the Lich King when he's paralysed and collect the loot, as I'm demonstrating here. You can then switch clients again and return to the second character that you've just started running through ICC. Now you can just do this again and again on all your alts with the skips I've explained, and it's quite efficient. However, there is a method to share Lockout between characters. This will allow you to skip most bosses with every character you run through Icecrown Citadel. This method was explained in a video by Sir Wint. I'll link to the original video below. There are several omissions in the original video which I feel are important to cover, and there are also some useful additions to it I'm going to post here. But do go to Sir Wint's video and give him a like and maybe a kind comment if you find this method useful, as so far as I know he came up with it. Note that some people will not want to do this for various reasons. You have to sacrifice one character to do this who will not be able to get the mount, so this is only useful for players with a number of alts. Some have difficulty making it work, some consider it an exploit and don't want to do that. That said, if you can and want to make the following technique work, it will save you a significant amount of extra time. So to start with, take one character and we'll call this character Character A. Set ICC to 25-man normal. Kill all the bosses in the raid except Velythria and the Lich King. Character A is going to hold this lockout and share it with your alts. Switch over to an alt. Set the raid to 25-man heroic. Enter ICC and kill Lord Marigar and exit the dungeon. Change the raid to 25-man normal. That last step is important. It was omitted from Sir Wint's original video and caused a lot of confusion and problems. Switch back to Character A. With Character A, make a group with a pre-made group finder. Log back onto your alt and apply to join this group. Log onto Character A again and invite your alt. Log back onto your alt and accept the invite joining the raid group. Now, making sure you are in 25-man normal, enter the raid on your alt and you should be able to go straight to the upper spire. Go to Velythria and heal her. If you don't have a class which can heal, use any bandages you can get from the auction house which are usable at level 50 or above. An alternative is to use the Heart of Azeroth if you have it, and the Concentrated Flame Essence. Now leave the raid and leave the raid group. Change the raid to 25-man heroic and you should be able to go straight to the upper spire and kill the Lich King for a shot at Invincible. You can repeat this process with all of your alts. Character A only has to run through the raid once for any number of alts. You begin the process again with a new alt, killing Lord Marigar on 25-man heroic. Now, amazingly, you can combine Sir Wint's method with my own technique for skipping the Lich King roleplay, which I explained earlier in the video. The two things together are incredibly fast and are a godsend for serious mount farmers.